The first step to planning your trip to New York City is to plan where you're going to stay. Most guests coming to New York City have little idea of how where they stay will influence their experience in New York City. So they default to the standard considerations, which is finding the best room they can find with the best services possible for that price. In our experience, most guests do not spend a lot of time in their hotel rooms because there's so much to do in New York City. What most guests fail to do is decide where they should stay based on what they're planning to do in New York City. And here's what I mean. If you're a family and you plan on doing a lot of sightseeing in your trip, you should stay in the main hotel district in Times Square, because this is where you will be spending most of your time. And therefore, you'll save a lot of money on transportation. However, if you're a young couple or a group of young adults traveling together or by yourself and you plan on seeing a lot of New York City nightlife, your Midtown Hotel District is not where you want to be. You will want to get a hotel near the famous meatpacking nightlife district. If you want to get away from the constant noise and hustle and bustle of the city, especially at night, either in Midtown or the meatpacking district, another place to consider is staying in a downtown Manhattan hotel near Wall Street and the New World Trade Center site. So before you go online and just book the cheapest hotel room you can find, we recommend you talk to some New York City travel experts on what your goals are for the trip, and then see what neighborhoods are the best places to stay to help you meet these goals. The second step to planning your trip to New York City is to plan your transportation to maximize your experience. New York City is unlike any other city in the world for transportation. For those who are used to driving, New York City is an entirely new world, walking, subways, and buses that you have to navigate. There's no room for cars in Manhattan, especially from people who've never driven there before. Leave the driving to the taxi drivers. There are two main parts to planning your transportation. First, there's getting to your hotel in the first place. And once you're at your hotel, you should determine your transportation strategy while you're in New York City. Arriving in New York City is actually easier than most people think. If you have a family with luggage, and there are a number of bus services and shuttle services you can use from the airport that are affordable to get you to your hotel. If you have a large group of people, sometimes it even makes sense to use a taxi or car service, which will be a lot quicker for almost the same price. The best thing to do when planning your arrival is to talk to a concierge about which options are available to you at the airport, and they can help you meet your price and convenience objectives. Once you arrive at your hotel, there are a number of options for getting around New York City. If you plan your hotel stay based on where you plan on spending your time in New York City, the ideal solution is to walk to most places. Manhattan is a great place for walking, and it's the best way to experience New York City. If you want to go a longer distance and need to use transportation, the easiest thing to do is to get a taxi. We generally do not recommend the subway for tourists, unless you're adventuresome and you enjoy the challenge of navigating a new system, and you want to see some interesting locals. A taxi ride in Manhattan for a group of 2 to 3 people will not be much more expensive than the cost of subway tickets, and it's a lot quicker and eliminates the risk of getting lost. Whether you need quick walking directions or advice on the cost of a taxi, or if you want to hire a car service or even a limousine, you should always talk to your hotel concierge and ask for directions. It is free, easy, and will save you a lot of time and worry. The third step to planning your trip to New York City is prioritizing and organizing your sightseeing so it's efficient, enjoyable, and fun. New York City has an amazing treasure of sights to see. This is a tourist's dream, but it can also turn into a planning nightmare. The biggest problem people have is prioritizing what to see in the first place and knowing how much they can do in a day. Manhattan has 2 main sightseeing districts for tourists. Downtown, near the most famous sites, the Statue of Liberty, the World Trade Center, Wall Street. And Midtown, near Times Square and Rockefeller Center. The best way to see all these sites is to consult your concierge or tour guide and prioritize which ones you want to see, and then group them together in manageable time blocks based on how much time you have available. If you want to get the most out of your sightseeing experience, we recommend you find a tour guide who can show you all of the main sites efficiently, with great information in a good, manageable period of time. The best and most efficient way to see New York is to hire a private car tour with an experienced guide. For a group of 3 or more people, this option can actually be surprisingly affordable and affords a maximum flexibility while eliminating time most tourists spend getting lost in between attractions. Private guides can also help you to bypass a lot of lines with their connections. If you cannot afford a private guide, you can book a public bus tour or transportation tour that takes you to most of the major locations in the city with a continuously running service. To get more in depth once you get off the bus, you can take a number of publicly scheduled walking tours to really see the most famous neighborhoods in detail, just as you would with a private tour guide but with other guests. To really plan your sightseeing, we recommend you contact a tour company with guide service or your hotel concierge and ask them what is realistic for your schedule and get their advice on what companies to use if you hire a guide. The 4th step to planning your trip to New York City is to properly prepare for one thing everyone ends up doing: shopping. Shopping is the #1 expense of the average visitor coming to New York City. And it is also an area where they spend the least time planning and getting some of the great free advice that is available to them. So let me explain that. New York City is home to the world's top fashion and designer labels, and it is also home to some of the chic and boutique, yet to be discovered designers. Whether you want to see flagship stores of the world's top designers and brands or discover the best up-and-coming designers will determine where you need to go. Fifth Avenue is home to the top brands. The Soho district is where you'll find the best up-and-coming designers. For those that want to spend a lot of time shopping, we recommend you find a personal stylist to help you guide to the best stores to meet your fashion needs. A stylist is a common employee of the rich and famous in New York City, but they can be actually very affordable. They will save you a lot of time in finding the perfect outfit, and they'll also save you a lot of money by helping you find the perfect deals. If you cannot afford a stylist, the other option is to take a publicly scheduled shopping tour with one of the many stylists that take groups of travelers around to educate them on how to shop in New York City. To get advice on where to go shopping or to find a shopping tour or a stylist, call your concierge or tour company with details for shopping tours. The 5th step to planning your trip to New York City is ensuring you dine in authentic New York City cuisine. New York City is the world's greatest city for doing almost every type of cuisine in the world. It all resides here. Sadly, many guests find it hard to escape the chain restaurants that dominate Times Square and the Midtown Hotel District area. The easiest way to find the perfect place to dine is to simply walk to your hotel concierge and ask them where to go for the type of cuisine you want, with the budget that you have. Hotel concierges are experts in the local restaurant scene because they all eat there at the invitation of the restaurants who want their recommendations for travelers. Hotel concierges can also secure reservations with the restaurants to ensure that you're seated even during the busiest times. They can also help you get your dinner tied to a pre- or post-dinner package that many of them offer. If you want to see the best hole-in-the-wall food stands in the world, there are a number of tour companies that offer food tours, usually on foot, that take you to 5 or 6 different stops to sample a wide variety of New York City's best cuisine. This is a great way to experience a lot of different types of cuisine, meet other travelers, and find a place where you might want to return for a full meal. Your hotel concierge or tour company will help you find the right food tour for your trip. The 6th step to planning your trip to New York City is experiencing New York City's fine art and culture. New York City is home to the world's greatest art, theater, and musical scene. Like sightseeing, the main problem is not finding things to do, but in prioritizing what you can take in during the limited time that you have. The #1 attraction in the art scene is the Broadway musical. Broadway ticket show prices can vary greatly depending on the time of day that you attend or what day that you want to attend and how you buy your tickets. If you want half-price tickets so you can stand in line for half a day and get great deals on tickets. If you don't want to spend time in a line all day, you should talk to your concierge or a tour company to help you secure your tickets and the perfect seats that you want. They'll also help you pick out the right show based on your interests and artistic taste. Some shows are not for everyone, so make sure you talk to your concierges or travel companies who are knowledgeable on the shows. For seeing art museums, there are a number of museums throughout New York City, and many of them are in the same areas, either in the Upper East Side or down in the Chelsea district with the more modern contemporary art. The most affordable way to see the art museums can be through purchasing a New York City pass that gives you a lot of attractions for free. If you plan on doing a lot of sightseeing and museums, we recommend these packages. If you would like a more private and personalized view of the art scene, there are a number of tour companies that offer privately guided tours through art museums and the latest modern art galleries. To help navigate all the art museums, make sure you talk to your concierge or a tour company to determine which pass and which package is right for you. The 7th step to planning your trip to New York City is ensuring you become a part of the legendary New York City nightlife. New York City, famously proclaimed the city that never sleeps, is the world's greatest nightlife city. It truly has it all, from the top live music venues to launch all the major bands, to the best old bars and the top high-end nightclubs where Wall Street bankers mix it up with celebrities and models. The problem most tourists have is navigating this scene and getting past the many hurdles to get into it. The first problem is knowing where to go. The hottest venues in New York City nightlife change constantly. Just because you went somewhere last time or a friend tells you about a great place he went to last year doesn't mean it's the right place to go now. It might not even be open. The best way to see New York City nightlife is to find a tour company that specializes in nightlife. There are a number of options out there for all types of entertainment. A pub crawl will bring a group of travelers together to see some of the best bars in New York City and show them the best venues for authentic New York City neighborhood bars, as well as live music. These tours are a great way to meet other travelers from all over the world, all ages, and really make for some great social experiences that turn into some great stories. If you want to see the high-end New York City nightclub scene, the only way to get into that is to work with a tour company that deals with New York City nightclubs. A nightclub tour is usually an affordable option to see the nightclubs that includes a number of travelers from all over the world, as well as an experienced nightclub host, drink specials, and reduced waiting in the typically long lines. Doormen typically make guests wait online for almost an hour to get into clubs, and they only let people in who are on the guest list or that they like. To find out the best options for pub crawls and nightclub tours, we recommend you talk to your travel company or your concierge for the best options. If you have children and would still like a night out alone on the town, you can talk to your concierge about professional and licensed babysitting services. New York City is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for many couples, and you don't want to pass up a night on the town.